5 News This Morning starts now.
We're learning more details about the man police say died after a shooting at this busy intersection in Bentonville. We'll have those latest details coming up. And it's not going to be as windy today as yesterday, but still some gusts up to 30 miles per hour, bringing some cooler air today, staying dry, and then rain chance to return at the end of the week. We'll talk all about it here coming up.
Is the person speaking as a private citizen? Are they speaking on a matter of public concern?
An Arkansas professor has been fired over comments made about Charlie Kirk. We'll hear from one expert on First Amendment protections for public employees.
But it is 6:30, a live look outside in Fort Smith there at the Marshals Museum. Good morning to you. I hope you're off to a great start today as you're waking up. May grab like the jacket if you're heading out right now-ish because it's a little bit chilly.
Yeah, it's a little bit cooler out there in northwest Arkansas. The River Valley still staying pretty warm, especially compared to yesterday because of that cloud cover. We'll show you the difference from the day before and day now. So we'll show you currently the temperatures, upper 40s in northwest Arkansas, still some areas in the 50s and even some 60s in the River Valley. So you compare it to this time yesterday and you can see it's almost close to 20 degrees warmer in Waldron. So for the most part, the River Valley is a lot warmer. Northwest Arkansas is about the same. And again, the reason for that is that cloud cover. You notice it's still kind of hanging around for the River Valley, but notice it is starting to clear out this morning off to the backside of northwest Arkansas, seeing some clear skies. So once that sun does rise, maybe a few initial clouds, but for the most part, we're going to see a lot of sunshine. So as you're headed off to the bus stop, temperatures generally speaking are in close to 50 northwest Arkansas, in the lower 50s in the River Valley. By recess or lunchtime, we're sunny, a little bit breezy, not as windy as yesterday, but still a little bit breezy. Staying breezy as you're heading home. Temperatures will stay around 70 degrees. It'll be a little bit cooler. Now we're dry through the next few days, but Friday and Saturday, well, yeah, it looks a little bit wet. Not severe, that's the good news for us, but it does look like it could be a little bit of a soaker. So we'll talk more about that rain chance, get you ready for the week ahead coming up and your full forecast. But now take a live look at traffic on this Tuesday morning. Take a live look in the Van Buren area along I-40 at Highway 59. Good morning to you there. Traffic moving smoothly so far across the region and looking like a pretty nice day overall. Just a little bit of that breeze, occasional breeze, as it should say. The full forecast coming up in about 15 minutes. Joe and Tiffany.
Well, developing this morning, we're learning new details about a shooting in Bentonville that police are investigating as road rage.
This morning, we're learning more about the man shot and killed. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi is live at the scene with what we know so far. Good morning, Jacob.
Yeah, good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Joe. That incident occurring right here at near the intersection of Southeast 14th Street and Moberly Lane happened right outside of this coffee shop right here at this busy intersection in Bentonville. The owner of this coffee shop saying that it was visible to both his customers as well as those working that shooting because of these massive windows that he has right outside of this building right here. He said that it was visible to those that were inside. Now, those new details that we're learning about the man who died, 29-year-old Daniel Davidson of Rogers. His family tells us that he was a father of 3. They also say he was engaged, soon to be married. They also say they're still trying to comprehend what happened. Now, Davidson's family shared that photo of him with us. Bentonville police say they believe this shooting stems from what started as a road rage incident, as you had mentioned. Investigators believe it started as a verbal argument. Davidson then ran toward another vehicle in a parking lot on Southwest 14th Street, and the altercation turned physical and shots were fired. Officers arrived on scene around 2:30 Monday and found Davidson with those gunshot wounds. Officers began treating Davidson before EMS could arrive, but eventually Davidson was pronounced dead at a nearby emergency room. Police say the other man involved in the incident stayed at the scene after the shooting and was cooperating with officers. He was released after an interview with detectives, and no charges have been filed at this time. Now, all of this happened right outside of Kennedy Coffee Shop. The owner telling us an off-duty officer inside quickly ran out to investigate.
Luckily, we did have an off-duty police officer from the Fayetteville Police Department, I believe, who was able to run out and take a look at the incident pretty much immediately. And the Bentonville Police Department was also very quick to get here. I believe they're here in just a couple of minutes.
Now, police say that as of right now, this appears to be an isolated incident with no threat to the public. They're also asking the public and any witnesses who have any information to come forward and share it with them. But for now, I'm live in Bentonville, covering news where you live. Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
All right, thank you for that update, Jacob. Well, new this morning, a Sallisaw family speaking out in an alleged sexual assault case at Eastside Elementary School in Sallisaw.
Through a letter from their lawyer, the family of one of the accused boys says that video evidence tells a different story. According to the initial report, the boy's mother says that school staff told her 3 boys had held her son down and sexually assaulted them during recess. The school district responded with, quote, "We can only confirm that during a recess game, an incident occurred which required further investigation to determine the severity and cause."
An attorney for one of the accused students says, quote, "Horseplay by a group of boys somehow involved into sexual assault allegations that have destroyed reputations and upended the lives of these children and their families." Now, that letter does go on to say that the story has been misrepresented online, and the family is confident that no legal action will be taken once the district attorney reviews the video and other evidence. The Sallisaw Public Schools say they're following proper protocols and cooperating with local authorities. Several have contacted us saying that a walkout is planned today in response to the allegations. Of course, we'll continue to follow this investigation and bring you the latest. In other news, a UA Little Rock law professor suspended for her social media comments after Charlie Kirk's death has now been fired.
Administrators say that they based the decision on the way that the comments caused a disruption at the Bowen Law School. The governor and other high-ranking leaders called for the firing. According to documents, Felicia Branch posted her thoughts on Charlie Kirk shortly after his assassination 5 weeks ago. They criticized what the conservative influencer said over the years. By September 24th, the Bowen School Chancellor, Christina Drill, planned to fire Branch from her job as a professor, citing university ethics policies. Branch appealed to a faculty advisory panel. They called the post a mistake, but stopped short of saying that Branch should be fired. Experts note public employees, like teachers, don't have the same broad First Amendment protections as private citizens.
And so the way the court has determined to do this is they've said, is the person speaking as a private citizen? Are they speaking on a matter of public concern?
Well, he says the government also has to show that the harm to the government workplace outweighs the interest the person has in speaking.
In her appeal, Branch and others amplified the disruption that her posts caused. Well, a daycare worker is facing charges after being accused of child abuse. Salem Springs police arrested Mary Ann Clybury on 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a minor and battery. Investigators say video shows her dragging one child across the room and forcefully grabbing another by the arm, which caused them to hit their head. Court documents also show that she forcefully lifted one child off the ground by jerking an arm. This all allegedly happened at the Friendship Pediatric Services on Whitlock Drive. Clybury is out of jail on bond.
Well, Attorney General Tim Griffin says 7 people have been arrested for Medicaid fraud. A news release says that his team found cases where workers billed for care they never gave, falsified records, and even used clients' money for personal purchases. One person arrested was from Fort Smith. LaTanya Jackson pleaded guilty to 1 count of Medicaid fraud after billing for services she claimed to provide.
Well, at 21 days, the federal government shutdown is now tied for the second longest in U.S. history. Democrats say that they want a funding bill that addresses Medicaid cuts and expiring Obamacare subsidies. Republicans say that they won't discuss that until Democrats pass their funding bill with no changes. This shutdown ties 130 years ago when congressional Republicans gave up about half the Medicare cuts that they wanted in return for a balanced budget.
Newt Gingrich shut down the government in 1995 because he wanted Clinton to cut Medicare. Clinton wouldn't do it.
We didn't let the fighting stop the negotiating. We also didn't let the negotiating stop the fighting.
The longest shutdown ever remains the one during President Trump's first term. It holds the record of 35 days after Democrats refused to pay for a border wall.
EMS officials in Arkansas say halted payments due to the shutdown have left ambulance services in what they're calling a crisis. The Arkansas Ambulance Association says most ambulance services in Arkansas depend on Medicare, between 50 and 60% of their revenue. But the Centers for Medicare or Medicaid Services, or CMS, stopped processing claims during the shutdown. For rural communities, it's an even heavier hit. Add-on Medicare payments, which help smaller towns offset lower call volumes, expired at the end of September.
It puts us in a position where we may have to look at going and actually making a loan to could possibly do that in order to pay our payroll on down the road. We have not been in that position yet. We are watching everything.
Well, he says the Ambulance Association has now sent letters to the federal level asking CMS to restart Medicare payments again.